The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everyone. This is Jay from ShopWorks. Thanks for attending our webinar today. The subject is effective training methods. If you've never attended one of our webinars before, these are kind of the basics of how it works. Number one is hopefully you can hear me. I cannot hear you. I do want you to, though, ask questions. And the way that you'll do that is there's a question pane, and you can just type in your questions. I will reserve some time at the end of the webinar to answer those questions. This webinar is being recorded. You can view it again, or you can share with others in your organization. And the way that you do that is you go to YouTube. And if you go to YouTube and just search on ShopWorks with an X. So if I just click on ShopWorks, actually ShopWorks software, you'll see other things in here. Some of these actually relate to ShopWorks, and some of those are from our website. So you can see here ShopWorks software. If you click on that, that's our YouTube channel. You can subscribe, you can like things, and more importantly, you can watch videos. So if you go to videos, you'll see all the different videos we have. And there's lots of other subjects in here you might be interested in, but by Monday, we'll have this webinar posted here as well. The last point here is near the end of the webinar, I will share course materials with you. So if you want these slides, and I also have some analysis I'm going to show you, and that will be included as well. It's just a spreadsheet. So let's go ahead and get started. A little background on me very quickly. I used to be a mechanical engineer for a couple years in the early 90s. I have owned a small business since I was 25 years old. Unfortunately, that puts me at age 56. My first business was an apparel and promotional products business. I owned that from 1992 to 2003. That's how I actually created the ShopWorks software. And my second business, of course, is ShopWorks, where that's the webinar you're attending today. And ShopWorks was founded in 1998. None of that is really important. What is important is that at the end of the day, all of us that are in this webinar are small business owners. And being a small business owner creates specific challenges that larger businesses don't have. And that's kind of what we're going to address today. The other issue for you guys, not for me, is that your business is very complicated. Embellished product businesses, whether you're doing the production or not doing the production, are complicated businesses. You have a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of coordinating products and designs with getting jobs done. There's just a lot of moving parts in your business, and that creates some special challenges. Now, small business challenges in general, most of us were never taught how to be small business owners. I certainly didn't go to any class on how to be a small business owner. And the pattern that we see is most of us small business owners are kind of weak in bookkeeping, weak in procedures, and weak in training. And that's what we're kind of covering today, is the training aspect of it. And this is kind of your traditional bell curve. And if you looked at most of us are probably in the meat of this bell curve with regards to training. We're probably a little bit below average. Some of us are above average. Very few of us are great, and not too many are poor. Some people have most people have some training at least. Now, why is training important? Hopefully you guys already know this. That's why you're at the webinar. But it's easier to bring on new people. So when you have to hire someone, having training programs makes it easier. Makes your business more scalable. So if you want to grow, it makes you more attractive to talent. So new employees want to work for companies that have training programs. And it takes stress off of existing staff, the people who do the training. It's less stressful if you have training programs. We all know the labor shortage is real. You guys are being impacted by that. I talk to customers every day, and customers are telling me across the board the labor shortage is real, and everybody's struggling with it. Employees are happier with real training. So if you have a real training program, people like it. They like to know what they're supposed to do. And so now more than ever, you need to keep employees happy, or they will go somewhere else. Hopefully not to one of your competitors. One that people don't think about for training is better customer service. So from your customer's perspective, your business is going to be better. And that's because your customers are more likely to get the same service from different people. If you have a good training program, I always use McDonald's as the example. When you go to a McDonald's in Spokane, Washington, or here in West Palm Beach, Florida, you're pretty much going to get the same service and the same product. And a lot of that is due to training. And that's very powerful from a customer standpoint. And then, of course, the biggest reason is all business owners, we want to save cost, we want to save time. And again, I'm going to show you a little spreadsheet here near the end of the webinar, and I'll give you that spreadsheet that shows you kind of like how much money you can save when you're considering these training programs. So let's look at what I call how most people do training right now. How most people do training right now is what I call the show me method training. The show me training method. I think this is the most common training method employed by small business. It's not really a method at all. It's very verbal. It's very one-on-one, labor-intensive human. Let me show you how to do that. So there's lots of shadowing, lots of, hey, watch me how I do this, and then remember it. It's very ad hoc, so there's usually not a plan for training new or existing people. It's just, hey, come on board and I'll show you how to do things. And then it's up to you to remember it. People get trained when they need it. And this is frustrating. It's frustrating to the trainers. They tend to get frustrated when the new people aren't getting it. Oh, they're not getting it. Well, why aren't they getting it? Because you don't really have a training program. Yeah, but I showed them how to do it. Well, in this day and age, and really any day and age, that's really not enough, except for a very small portion of the population. There's no reference materials for the trainees. So if they have a question or they want to get a follow-up on something that you've trained them how to do, there's nothing for them to look at. They have to come back to you and re-ask the question. That's frustrating for them. It's frustrating for you. As I mentioned, excellent trainees will always succeed. But as you know, getting excellent personnel, people in your company, is more and more difficult. It's more and more expensive. And then everyone else is going to struggle. Even your people who are pretty good or in the middle are going to struggle because you don't have a training program. So that's kind of the show me training method. What I'm going to show you today is what I call a better training method. I don't really have a name for it, but in this training method, it's pretty commonsensical, but all the training tasks are documented. That doesn't mean you have to write a document. It could be a video, which we're going to go into, but there needs to be something people can reference. It's planned. A training method is planned. First, I want you to train on this, then I want you to train on that, then I want you to train on C, D, E, F, etc. There's a big picture. There's a plan for what the trainee is going to be going through. Now, trainees in my method do the heavy lifting. So in other words, most of the time is spent by the trainee, the new person. They're the ones that are going to be doing the heavy lifting, spending the most amount of time by reading or watching videos or practicing. Whatever your training program is, they're going to do the hard work. However, as management, as a trainer, I'm going to offer one-on-one follow-up. So to answer questions, to reinforce key points, to maybe test them to make sure they're doing it properly, I, the manager, am going to be involved in that. And the trainer and trainee and trainer alike are enabled, meaning they're going to be good at doing the training because you have planning, you're utilizing technology, and most importantly, you're going to have good training materials. That's the key to this whole plan. And I'm going to show you what some of these tools look like. They're going to help you generate good training materials. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, I'm going to give you a couple different steps here. So we want to move from point A to point B. Point A being the old method, point B being the better method. How are we going to do that? The first thing you need to do before you do anything, before you do any training with anyone, is you need to load up what I call your training toolbox. So you have to get better at things before you can start training people. And I'm going to give you some tools here. And the first tool I'm going to give you is file sharing. Now you might say, well, why do I need file sharing? You're going to need file sharing because your training materials need to be shared so they can easily be accessed by trainees and customers. Notice that I emphasized easily. Guess what's not easily accessible is a Windows-based, server-based file system. It's not easy. They're hard to set up, they're hard to administer, and if an employee is at home and needs to watch a video or at home and needs to see a document, it's hard to get to their Windows network because they're not on premises. You're going to want to have some sort of login or access control feature so you can control who sees what information. And you might have an internal or external side to it so it can be set up that way. What I mean by internal and external is internal means employee facing. I want certain employees to see this information. And external means customer facing. Because I want you to think about training as not only training your internal staff, but it's training your customers as well. Your customers have a need for training as well, and we'll kind of cover some more of that. So when you're looking for a file sharing product, you're looking for all these kinds of things. Now I'm going to give you some suggestions here of some actual products. Box is my favorite. I'm going to show that to you here in a minute. That's the one that we use at ShopWorks. Everybody's heard of Dropbox. You can also use YouTube for videos, Vimeo, Wistia. There's literally dozens and dozens of these type products that are some sort of document / video sharing products. You're going to need to research. I'm giving you some suggestions, but you're going to need to research what fits best for your organization. But again, my little note here, avoid using your internal network. It's terrible. You need to get off of it. Let me show you. Let's close this. Let's see. Where do I have Box on here somewhere? Okay, so here's my Box account. This is my actual Box account. I can't show you too much on here because this is my actual working Box account, and obviously I have sensitive information on here. But you can see you set it up. So I have it set up by department is the way I do it. But let me show you something you can do. I go to ShopWorks and I have customer employee shared documents. Oh, those are my master documents. Let me go to employee shared. And I can go in here and this is all my different things that I can share with employees. I have certain documents and I can set on each document in each folder, things that are tan, I only have access to. Things that are blue, I have some sort of sharing set up for them. And I can control very easily. I can do it by group or by individual who has access to what part of the system. So it's super powerful. I also have a customer facing side to it. So if I want to share documents or things with customers, I have customer facing, customer shared documents. And then I have it broken out by category. So Box is super powerful. And I recommend that's one of the ones you look at it. But the nice part about this is it's cloud-based. I can access it from my phone. I can access it at home, from the office. Anywhere I am, I can access that information. When you're dealing with a Windows or Mac-based local network, you're very limited in how you can share information. Here's my must-haves for these file sharing products. They need to be cloud-based. They need to support many file types and video. That's very important that you want to be able to share video on there. Easy access controlling, including public links. You want it to do backups and revision history automatically. So for example, Box does all my backups. I don't have to worry about it. And it has revisions, which is really nice. Let's say an employee accidentally overwrites an important file. I can just go back to one of the revisions, which is easy to find, and I can restore it. I suggest you look for something affordable, but avoid free products because there is no free products. Free products are going to be some form of a trial that they're going to try to roll you into something that costs money. So you're going to have to spend money on this, but it's going to be cheaper than maintaining a local server for file sharing. Okay, let's look at tool number 2, and that's good old Microsoft Word. We all, hopefully, but most of us probably use Microsoft Word. Obviously, it's used for documents. I suggest you standardize your format. And when you're thinking about a document, who's the audience? Is it internal for a customer? That'll affect how formatted it is. And this is very important. Documents should be short and have screenshots or pictures in them. Don't just put text. So let me show you an example. Here's a Word document I have for my fictitious company called Source Logo. And this is a document in how to update a design status in our ShopWorks on-site system. And notice it's kind of like steps. It literally says steps, step 1. And it's showing screenshots and it's calling out things on the screenshot. Enter the order number, click on find, click on the blue arrow to view the design details. It's a step-by-step instruction. And notice it's only 4 pages long. So it's very bite-sized. It's very simple to understand. You don't want to have a training program that is like one huge manual. You want to break it down into bite-sized stuff. So this is one little bite, step to update a design status. You might have 10 or 20 of these for the art department. I don't know. But this is just an example of where you have screenshots and text in a Word document. And that kind of brings us to our next tool, which I recommend you look into, and that's called TechSmith Snagit. Snagit is awesome software. Every employee at ShopWorks uses it. I listed the pricing on here. This might be outdated because this was maybe from a year ago or so, but it's very inexpensive. It's super valuable for doing screenshots and for doing quick, down and dirty, no editing, what I call easy peasy videos. So I listed the website there. It's actually techsmith.com. All the videos ShopWorks has on our help website, which is a lot, are done using Snagit. There's no editing, so you just start recording, you have a headset on, and they turn out beautifully for the most part. So I really recommend you look into this software. I'm just going to show it to you real quick. This is it. You can do screenshots. Here's a screenshot I took. If I wanted to like mark up some things, like I'm going to highlight some things on the screenshot, I can add arrows and text and all that. I don't do a lot of that because it takes work to do it, but you can if you want. And also, if I click just my print screen button on my computer, I'll select an area of what I want to record, whether it's a screenshot or you have a video option. So if I clicked on the video option, you can't see it on screen, but if I clicked on video, there's a little video button and it would let me start recording the video. So it's that straightforward. I would just start recording the video. It would save it to my computer and I could instantly or quickly post it to YouTube or one of the other sharing methods I showed you before. So really, really good product. And that's great for doing these training programs. The next one is the good old fashioned, well, I guess it's not old fashioned, but the good old cell phone or mobile phone. These are really, really good for shop floor videos. So if you have a shop floor, you actually do production yourself, and you want to show an employee how to properly clean screens, just do it with your iPhone or your Samsung phone or whatever phone you're using. The videos are super high quality and it's super instructional. And guess what? If someone wants you to show them over and over again, or for multiple employees, they just have to look at a video. You don't have to sit there and go through it with them. So your phone is a great tool for doing this. Tool number 5 is flowcharts. So I know this one might sound a little weird, but you need to make flowcharts. And the reason why is it's great for visualizing and discussing workflow and processes. So let's say you have a process of, I'm going to use cleaning screens, which is something screen printers know, but it would apply really to anybody who does any kind of, production themselves. There's certain steps, and then there's if this is wrong, you need to return to a previous step. So sometimes even before discussing this with employees, it's good to put this into a flow chart for management purposes. Now, the other benefit is it forces you to think through the processes before you train people. You can use Word for flow charts. I find that's kind of cumbersome, so I use a product called Gliffy, which is a weird name, Gliffy. But it's very easy to create these. So here's a flow chart I created in Gliffy, and you can simply, I could simply I copy and pasted this particular square, and I want to add a bullet point from there to here, and then I could change my text. So it's very simple to create these flow charts, and this is, for example, an order entry, order flow kind of workflow flow chart. But it's just a super easy product. And if you use flowcharts or you do flowcharts, which I do encourage, and you should use something like Gliffy or a competitor of theirs, it'll really save you time. And again, these are very cheap software products, and you probably can find some decent free flowcharting products. I use a paid one, but you can use some cheaper free ones as well. Tool number 6, something that people don't think about, is customer self-service. What does customer self-service mean? Well, it means that customers like to help themselves, and you do it all the time. I mean, imagine if on Amazon you couldn't get any information online. You'd order a product, and to find out the status of that product, you had to call Amazon to find out hey, what's the deal with my product? When is it shipping? Did it ship? What's the tracking number? You would have to do all that verbally. Imagine if Amazon was run that way. Well, my challenge to you is, why are you running your business that way? Because most people in our industry, that's exactly how they run. They either do voice, all status updates or information is done via voice, or maybe via email, which is not much better. So customers, our society in general, is really getting used to self-service. They want to find information themselves. So this is kind of an advanced tool, but one that can be very valuable. The help must be good. If you give them help, it can be good. It should be quick hitter information. And then lastly, if they really need to talk to someone, just like with Amazon, they should be able to. So I've seen this done in 2 different ways. I actually seen some of my ShopWorks customers where they have their own help website. So say the company is called Acme Screen Printers. They'll have acmescreenprintershelp.com, and it might have several different subjects on there: how screen printing works, how we charge for screen printing, what to do if you have a customer service question. They fill out a form. There's lots of different ways you can implement this, but it allows the customers to get questions answered without talking to someone. Another way that you can do it is a transactional portal or a customer portal. This is exactly what you get when you log into Amazon. When you log into Amazon, you can see your order history. Well, what if your customers could have the same thing? What if your customers could have a website that they went to and they could see all their orders they've done with you, or they could pay for orders, or they could do other functions that saves you time and money. Well, that's what a customer portal does. We have one called Manage Orders. Now, this is one that's designed for ShopWorks customers, but a customer can log in. Rosewood High School, for example, can log in and they can see the status of their order. They can see the status down here. They can see everything on the order and what they paid for it. And they can even pay for their order online. So they can pay for it with credit card or with check. There's different products for this. So, it depends on who your software provider is. And this is kind of more of an advanced one, but if you're a larger business, or if you're growing or want to be larger, this is something that you should look at, because this is the kind of thing that customers want. So that's my 6 tools: file sharing, Word, Snagit, mobile phone, Flowcharts, and the advanced one is customer self-service. So you really need to get proficient or add some of these tools to your toolbox before you move on to the next step. And the next step is implementation. Okay. That's where we're going to make the move to better. We're going to go from A, the old way of doing things, to B. And step 2 is planning. You got to have a plan of what you're going to do. This is not something you just want to jump into. So what does that plan look like? Well, first of all, we're going to have step 1 is you got to have a management buy-in. What I mean by that is the owners of the company and the managers of the company and even the employees of the company need to buy into the training programs. In other words, they need to see the value in even having training programs, or it's not going to work, or you might as well just not do this. So if your employees are going to be so fighting you so much on training programs, or your managers are, then you're going to have problems. They need to be involved in the implementation. If you're a business owner, you're not doing this all yourself. You have your managers involved, and your trainees / employees, they need to see the benefit to them, and you need to sell that on them. So the incorrect way to approach it is to say, look, guys, we're going to start training programs and you're going to do it or you're going to get fired. That's the incorrect way to do it. The correct way to do it is to say, look, guys, we're going to do a training. We're going to start these training programs and they're going to benefit you in XYZ manner. You're going to get bonuses by completing training programs. You're going to get gift cards for completing programs. You're going to get an hour of extra time off if you are successful in this training program. However you want to incentivize them, that's how you need to do it. It needs to be positive reinforcement, not negative reinforcement. Planning step 2 is when you decide to start going for it, to start making these training programs, you need to focus on the low-hanging fruit. And what I mean is you need to focus on areas where you're going to get the biggest gain. And that means your areas where you have the biggest pain points. So wherever you're struggling the most is where you should focus your energy on at the beginning. And it might look something like this. I just created a little spreadsheet. Now pretend like this is your company. Let me zoom in here. This is just an Excel, and I have it by department. So in our production department, we're taking too long to set up presses. That's costing us time and money. The cleaning of the screens is not well documented. So that's a pain, because if I have to bring on a new screen cleaner, they don't know how to do it properly. We're improperly ink mixing. That's done incorrectly sometimes. That's costing me mistakes on jobs, and customers are unhappy. So that's my low-hanging fruit. Those are my highest pain points. In my art department, we're not preparing stitch files properly, and they're not being placed in the proper spots. When we go to produce a job, they're not the right files, or they're not the correct files. We're not communicating with customers properly in the art department. Sometimes we're using voice, sometimes we're using email, sometimes we're not doing anything. So how are we going to do that? And then we need to follow up on approvals better. So we send our customer art approvals, and they're just not getting done in a timely manner, and then that's causing our schedule to stretch out. So how do I fix that? In my sales department, how to properly generate and deliver a quote to the customer. I want to make that consistent amongst all my salespeople. And we price all over the place. Our pricing is not consistent. So how do we price properly? Now for each of these, so you need to have a list essentially. And this list, you'll just check things off your list. When it's done, then you're done with it. Or maybe this turns into a help system for your employees. Even the spreadsheet could be a simple help system. Instead of too long to set up press, it'd be how to set up the press properly, and you'd have a URL link. So this is the skeleton of an actual training program. But until you've documented what your pain points are, you're not going to really be able to proactively and properly address your training things. You're going to kind of just be doing it willy-nilly, which is obviously not the way you want to do it. And maybe you have a ranking system for how important they are. Maybe you assign each one to a certain people to a certain task that's on there. Every company's different. Planning step 3 is resist the urge to tackle it all at once. So you might make up your spreadsheet and you might have 20 important things on there. And when you see that many, you tend to get panicky. Oh my gosh, look at all the things that are wrong with our company or things that we have to fix. Don't try to tackle them all at once. You want to focus on one area at a time. Now, if you have multiple managers, if you have a bigger staff, you have multiple managers, maybe each manager focuses on one area at a time. So you can do 3 at once. But you don't want to do 10 or 15 at once. You just want to do one at a time, and you're just going to kind of Pac-Man your way through this with each task being a little Pac-Man pellet, and you're Pac-Man, and you're just going to chow through those things. And you want to start with the easy ones. Whatever the easy ones that you want to do, those are the best ones before moving to the hard stuff. Cherry pick. Cherry pick the most important and the easier ones. So that's kind of it for my presentation. There is a couple more things I'd like to show you. I want to show you a training cost spreadsheet, and I'm going to give you access to this. If you'd like to download it, you can. In fact, let me do that now so you have some time to do that. Handouts. Okay, give me 1 second here. Well, I apologize. I'm getting some errors here on the uploading. So what I'll ask you to do is, if after the class, if you'd like to get these resources that I'm talking about, then just email me jay@shopworks shopworks.com. I apologize, but let me go ahead and show you this little spreadsheet here, just to kind of show you the cost savings of having a training program. So in this particular spreadsheet, I'm hiring one person, and I'm going to use one person to train that person. The new person costs $37,000 per year. That's a loaded cost, meaning taxes and benefits and all that. And my existing employee cost me $55,000 per year. Now, you're using the old show me training method where basically anything the new employee needs to learn, they have to be shown manually by the existing employee. I'm estimating my training time is 8 weeks. So that means I'm going to be paying my employee for 8 weeks of work, the new employee, before they're doing anything, which costs me that amount. It's going to cost my trainer 40% of their hours because they have to manually show the employee everything. And actually that number could be a lot higher, but I'm just putting it at 40%, which translates to that cost. So you have a total of $9,000, basically is what it cost me to get a new person. In this case, we're looking at a customer service hire. So $9,000 to get them up and running, okay, which is a significant amount for an employee. Now, if we look at a better training method, the way I showed you, where it's more of you have a lot of resources, you're documenting it, you're letting the employee do the heavy lifting. We can get that training time down to 5 weeks, which is only $3,500 in savings. And more importantly, we can reduce the trainer effort because the trainer is only having to spend 15% of their time instead of 40% of their time, because we're letting the training materials do the heavy lifting, not the trainer. And so that means we're basically at $4,300 in cost, which basically means we're cutting our costs in half. Our savings are actually more than half, $4,700. This is a very simple analysis, but this is the real world. This is what it is. I'm saving almost $5,000 by having a better training program. And that's only for a new employee. Imagine the time and energy saved for existing employees. Imagine the quality of your work improving. Imagine your customers being happier. Imagine your employees being happier. So this $4,000, $4,700 does not capture your total savings. This is just your cost savings. There's other economic benefit, if you want to think of it that way, for having training programs. Some of it's going to be very hard to quantify. It's hard to quantify happier employees. It's hard to quantify happier customers. But as a business owner, you know when your customers and employees are happier. And training programs can be a big component of that. So that's it for my presentation. If you guys are ever interested, anybody in here is ever interested in any ShopWorks products or services, you can go to our website at shopworks.com. We've been in the industry since 1998. 1,200 companies have been installed with our software since that time period. And our software will service if you're a small company up to a very large company in our industry. It's hard to outgrow our software, and all of our support is US based. That's my little sales pitch. You can go to our website, you can register for a demo, or if you have questions or whatever. We're not a hard sell type company, so I don't want you to feel like if you call us or email us or whatever, you're going to get inundated with, a bunch of hard sales techniques. We don't do that. So hopefully you'll reach out when the time is needed for you. I don't see any questions that have come in, so I'm going to leave the floor open for a couple more seconds. If you have any questions, please type them in. While I'm waiting for those, I just want to thank you for your time. I know everybody's day is important. Hopefully this was beneficial to you. We will have more webinars coming out soon, and some of those will show our products. Some of them will be more kind of informational like this one. And, obviously feel free to sign up for those as you see fit. So again, I don't see any questions coming in. I'm going to end the webinar. If you have any questions or would like the materials from this class, please email me directly, Jay, just the name Jay, at shopworks.com, and I'll be happy to get those over to you. Thank you for your time today, and everybody have a great rest of your week.